to Madden 12's franchise mode. Here we have player roles. Certain players are assigned a role, such as team mentor, that will make you younger players better if you have one on your team. Tim Tebow is an offensive playmaker, but if he doesn't live up to that first round pick, he'll become an underachiever, just like Brady Quinn. Poor Brady. Also added to this year is the ability to cut players. Rosters will start out with 75 players, and over the course of the offseason, you'll have to cut a certain amount of players each week. Rookies and roster invitees will have question marks in place of their attributes. The longer they survive cuts, the more that becomes unlocked, adjusting their overall. This feature lets you find a gem or potentially a lump of coal. Here, we can see that Corell Buckhalter will cover up the ball, fight for extra yards, but isn't very consistent and won't make the clutch play that often. It's details like this that separate the great players from the average ones. After the preseason, you'll be able to use the updated scouting feature to unlock some attributes on college players that you're interested in. This part is very important, because no longer will you be able to rely on graphs on players' skills in the draft room. If you didn't scout them, then you won't know anything about them. Rookies' names are also randomly generated this year, so you won't be able to search by name for that star of a certain draft class. This year, injured reserve was also fixed. Here we can see that Demarius Thomas and Russ Hochstein are out for the season. I'm going to place both of them on the IR, which will free up 2 roster spots, allowing me to fill those needs. This wasn't the case in previous versions of Madden. As you can see, I'm easily able to sign their replacements. No longer will you be forced to cut players in order to counter an injury. My team starts the season off 0-3, which is the likely outcome for the Broncos this year. Kyle Orton is having an awful year so far. Here we can see his confidence is low, resulting in a cold streak, which you can see by the glowing snowflake next to his captain symbol. Streaks can last for 3 weeks and affects the overall of your player. It should be noted, in games, your player can undergo changes. If he gets sacked too much, like happens to Jay Cutler, he'll make more errant throws and get happy feet, and he'll sense pressure less. After simming through the year, we finally advance to the offseason. The owner mode lets you sign coaches, relocate your team, and sign sponsorships. We'll skip that and get into the real meat of the offseason. As you can see, new player roles are determined for players before heading into the next part of the offseason. The retirement section has remained the same, as did the re-signing period. Now we get to the brand new free agent bidding. Once a bid is put in on a player, there's an allotted amount of time before he signs. Think of it as a timed auction. No longer will you have to skip days of the free agent period. Signing free agents is now fast, entertaining, and most of all, fun. You need to go in with a game plan. Remember, you need to make sure you keep an eye on your bids so you don't get a player snatched from you with 10 seconds left. I'll let you watch how this plays out now. As you can see there, I won my first free agent bidding. I get the achievement winning. Duh. After free agency, we get to draft-related tasks. Madden 12 features Pro Days, NFL Combine, and individual workouts. During each stage, you can select a limited number of players to scout. The stage determines which ratings will be unlocked. For example, if you scout during the Combine stage, you'll unlock a player's physical ratings like speed, agility, and strength. If you scout them in Pro Days, you'll unlock his intangibles. If you choose a player for an individual workout, you'll unlock everything. Only a small amount of players can be selected for individual workouts, so you'll need to unlock as much information as you can before you get there. Here it is, draft day, baby. I simmed to my first pick, which is 4th overall, thanks to the ineptitudes of Kyle Orton, Tim Tebow, and company. As you can see, the overalls and potential ratings still aren't unlocked. I didn't do that great of a job scouting, so there's a lot of players that I end up drafting blindly. So I skipped the rest of the draft. Afterwards, you get to sign the rookies that are full of question marks. At least for me, they are. With the new salary system in Madden 12, rookies now sign contracts based solely on their position and their draft pick, as opposed to just their draft pick and rating. If you take a QB with the 1st overall pick, you can expect to pay him a lot. I'd like to note that I really love the new player portraits for rookies as well. It adds to the game's overall presentation. After reordering the depth chart, you advance to the next season, where you get to start all over again. Not only will you cut players as you trim your roster down from 75 players, but AI-controlled teams will make decisions more intelligently with the new cut-dead weight logic. It takes player potential, their role on the roster, and age into account. If the computer feels like a player is over the hill, they cut him and move on, as opposed to keeping him until his contract expires. The rare exceptions to the rule are Peyton Manning and Tom Brady,